Hi all. I'm going to try something brand new today. I'm going to try to use Screencastify to explain learning A to Z. So I'm going to first log in. I go to member login. You can just put in razplus.com, or you can even put in reading A to Z. And if you hit member login and you've logged in before, it will come up. And if you save it, it will come up. If you have not, it will have a little login page right down in here, but it will be the same information. If you are new, the email that I sent you is your username, which is generated by Learning A to Z, and they generate your password, but you can always go into forget password and change it to what you want. So Lorena wanted me to share with you primarily the foundational skills within Learning A to Z. So that's where we're going to start. Once you're logged in, I'm going to kind of roll my screen down a bit because this is a big window that opens up. I'm going to hit resources. Under resources, I'm going to skip the rest of this for now. We're going to go straight down to foundational skills. And under foundational skills, you'll see that there's a lot of different options we can do. All of the options that have a planet have different lessons that you can assign to kids through their Raz Kids. And everything else is things that you can print and copy and use. So we're going to go here to lessons and decodable text. And when I click on that, it brings up, here we go. It brings up the different grades, grades K, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The grades K2 does have a foundational skills scope and sequence, and I will just click on that. I believe it opens up. Yep. This is already done for you if you want to follow their scope and sequence. Like all programs, though, there is not a set sequence for first grade phonics skills. So what Words Their Way sequence is a little different than Learning A to Z, which is a little different than Amplify. So this is their particular, so you can select a state. We're going to go down here to Washington, and then, sorry about that. Then it should come up. Hello. Oh, there we go. I have to click on it. Then the foundational skills scope and sequence will come up, and it will tell you exactly week 1 what to do, what your resources are, and you can go from there. However, most of us probably will not be doing that because we are not teaching K2, or because we are not going to use the Reading A to Z's sequence. We're going to use Words Their Way or some other sequence that you have. So if I am I'm going to go to grade 1 for right now, because some of you, even in grade 3, might have some kids that are still working on the long O vowel digraphs. So let's just go there. I should have prepped this because I really don't. Okay, long O vowel digraphs, here we go. So in here, we have a lesson guide. Now these are super handy, especially if you want your para partners to be doing these lessons on your off days, because the lessons will have exactly all the objectives, the lesson duration, the materials. Then it has all of the directions written out. And in addition to all of that, it has optional lessons that you can do later. So here's your whole lesson plan. It's already written out for you, for your para partner. And then down below, it has all of the various different resources you're going to need. For instance, I might need some word family cards. Now I can download them and print them. I can assign them to the particular students, or I can also project. Now, not only can you project the books, but you can project these family word cards. So it doesn't really allow us to do any manipulation with them unless you're using the online portion, which I'm going to, unless you're using the online words their way program, then you can manipulate it. For here, we can't manipulate it, but we do have whiteboard tools. So I could use a marker, I could use a pen, I could use stars, I could use a highlighter to add different, like if I wanted to, let's say, we are going to brainstorm words that end in oat. Ready? Who has a word that ends in oat? And someone says boat. Then you could write in your B, and I'm not very good at writing these yet. And then someone else says coat, so you can erase that, and then you can put in coat. All right, that's enough of examples for there. Let's go back. And so if your para partner was doing this and you were in the classroom, what you could do is download all of these manipulatives, print them, and the kids could cut them out, or you could have the para pre-cut them out so they're just easier to do it. And then there's a lot of different activities that are in the lesson guide where they do Alconin boxes and different type of sorts. So this is letter cards, picture cards. The practice sheet is what they're going to practice in the lesson plans. I'm going to backtrack. In the lesson plans, usually first what they do is there's a phonemic awareness activity. Then there's a phonics activities focusing on that particular skill that you're teaching. And then you go to practicing the words, like in right here in number 1, there's always new sight words. And if you do them in order, they spiral up. And then in 3, you practice reading those words within phrases and then sentences, which then takes you, or the student, it then scaffolds it. So the student then has a lot of background so that they can then apply what they have learned to the books. And I'm just going to project this one. So then the books are going to use that same skill over and over again with different words. And again, when you are doing this, you can use different tools. For instance, I had one student this summer who just got overwhelmed with too many words on the page. So I can hide part of that page and then move it as I go. Sorry, I'm moving it down. The other thing I could do is if I wanted to go through and I wanted first just to highlight, oh, wrong one, sorry. I wanted to first go through and, darn, I should have practiced this without you guys. I wanted to first go through and, I guess I'm hitting the wrong thing again and again, aren't I? Let's try show. I wanted to first go, that's what I wanted. I wanted to first go through and just mark out all of the particular words to start with. Then, and now my little face picture's in the way, then I could go through and I could use these boxes and we could go through and just read our word family words to start, because maybe that's what I think will be most beneficial to the student so that they don't get too overwhelmed when then they go see the whole page. All right, so we are going to erase that, go back to the full page, and then you can read the book, and you can, again, you can use highlighters, and if you don't want to frame things, you could highlight a particular word, you can underline, you can mark it up, you can star different things, you can put a smiley face, a check, a question, you can do all sorts of stuff to it. And the kids love to do this when you're in the classroom. They do not have access to these tools online, but you do, so they can give you suggestions for how you're going to mark it up. So then they have the story. It uses the word families throughout the story. And then also with each particular lesson plan and each book, there is usually a quiz, and there isn't one with this one. Usually there's also a quiz that goes along with these activities. If you are printing them or use them in the classroom, the easiest way to print them is to do the double-sided book, and it's a little tricky on how you send it to the printer, so you can just fold them and staple them with the long arm stapler. So if you don't know how to do that, let me know, or Kate know, or Lachlan know. I believe Lachlan knows how to do that too. All right, and many of the books have either full colored books like this one or read in color. So they look more like comic books that then the kids can color in on their own, and they like that if you're doing print versions. All right, let's see, that was a lot of details I wasn't really going to go into. So let me go back to foundational skills, lessons in decodable text. So that was an example, I believe, from first grade. When you get up to the other upper grades, unfortunately, they don't tell their skills right here. They just say lesson 7, which is not very helpful. But what I was going to do before today, and I just have not had time, is to go through and actually make a Google Doc for you that will show, like, grade 3 lesson 10 is all about the vowel variant of ah. So anyway, we can do that at another time. And so for your older grades, it's a little cumbersome right now, but I'm going to do that for me because it will be helpful for me. So I will share that with you when I am done. And let me go back to, what else do I need to show you? I think that is all I need to do on that particular lessons in decodable text. So I really encourage you to go and work on that or go in your time today and spend some time in there and look at what's available for your particular group and your particular needs. There's also read aloud books, sound simple books. The practice passages, you cannot assign these, but they are, I found these to be super helpful. So they're just like the assessment passages, but different versions. So if you wanted to use these similar to 6-Minute Solution, or similar to what you were doing with Read Naturally in the hallway with your volunteers, there are some passages. Let me go back. And you can, the Reader's Theaters are by, I wanted to let you know that those Reader's Theaters are by grade level too. So you can't choose the, you can't choose the Reader's Theater by particular guided reading level, but you can choose it by grade. There we go. Reader's Theater by grade, practice passages are by levels, poetry, rhymes, and songs, that's another fun one. So I would encourage you now, we're going to pause this just for a minute, to go in and explore the resources, go to your resources tab and explore the foundational skills, especially into the lessons in decodable text. All right, now that we've gone and explored that, we are going to go back up to level text. This is where most of you are familiar with. You can see that everything that's listed here can be shared with your RAS kids. Under books and passages, we have all leveled books. That will be a mix of your fiction and nonfiction, or if you're just looking for a particular nonfiction series, or you're looking for classics or close read passages, you can go specific to that. Or if you're looking for a specific content area or a specific type of text, you can go straight to there. I'm not really gonna spend any time in here because I believe everyone is pretty familiar with this. I just want to randomly bring up one and just remind people, all kinds of homes. Just remind people that once you get here, you can choose to project. Then it will give you all your whiteboard tools. If you're going to print double-sided books, and oh, I picked one without different languages, darn. So oftentimes these are translated into multiple different languages, and it will be listed right here. And if you click on that language, then it will take you to the Spanish version, for instance. And not only is the book translated, but all of the lessons and all of the activities are. And even for your phonemic awareness for your K1 lessons, they have different images so that the sound still works with the Spanish words, if that makes any sense. Okay, but for all of them, here's your assign button, so you can assign it to a particular student. You can project the book like I did with the Decodable book. Here's your guided reading lesson. And these are fantastic lessons again. They have what you do before reading to build background. They have a book walk to introduce the book. Then there's a reading strategy, and all of the different books have different reading strategies. I'll show you where you can choose books based on the strategy you want to teach in just a minute. Comprehension skills, you can also choose books based on your comprehension skills you want to teach. During reading, it gives you some tips on what you can do while the student is reading it. And then after reading, how to reflect on that strategy that you taught and how to reflect on the comprehension skill you taught. Then it also gives you usually a phonics activity to do that has something to do with the words that are in the book, and some grammar or mechanics activity. And then it has how to build fluency and skill reviews and assessment. So I'm going to click out of this, and you can also, and some of them have a Common Core supplement, which are, again, just more detailed activities on what you can do with that particular book that is more, they're newer. So they're aligned specifically to the Common Core. And they are in addition to what you're going to find down below. So you have the book resources to project, the lesson resources, the guided reading lesson is there, the Common Core supplement is there, and then it's going to have teach the objectives. And you can either download all of the worksheets, or if you don't want all the worksheets, you only want a couple of them, you can go to with the worksheet that you are going to be working with your kids. Like for instance, let's say I chose this book because I really wanted to work on the skill of categorizing. Or let me go back. Let's say I really wanted to identify and use complete sentences. That was the skill I really wanted to be teaching right now. So that's what that takes me to that. And again, I have my whiteboard tools. So let me go back. And then at the bottom here, you will see that there are think, collaborate, discuss. These are small group, basically literature circle type questions that are basically the same book to book to book to book. But down here in the comprehension quiz, these are all specific to the particular book that you are reading. And it also has a written response out. Now, the bad part about these is when you assign them, they are not hot linked. So the kids can see them, but they can't actually go in and mark their answer, and then you could see their answer. So it's not that user-friendly for online yet. Sorry about that. But you could have them do it in your small group breakout and have a Google Doc or have a form linked to your Google Classroom to do that. All right, I think that's all we needed to do there. Then I wanted to go back to resources and just let you know that up here in curriculum, this is what Raz Plus has put together. And all it does is take, let's just go to grade 3, take all of their resources and they just categorized them into various topics that they thought the general American teacher would need. And the topics are the same no matter what grade level you go to, K through 5. So for instance, I was already in here earlier. So for week 1, or for unit 1, it's civics, government, and citizenship. Unit 2, it's elements of story. let's say I wanted to do the civics, government, and citizenship. And for week 1, the topic is what makes a strong leader. That's going to be the same topic for all the different grades, but within the resources here, this is grade 3. So these resources are for the 3rd grade. There's shared readings, there's read alouds, there's the books that are related, there's implementation guides, there's grammar and word work, there's writing lessons, there's just small group instructions, there's stations, then week 2. So this is another resource if you're just feeling like really slammed for time and you want something for your para partner to do on your off day. These are just some ready-made resources for you. And that's, you'll find right there under curriculum. Foundational skills curriculum, again, this is that K2 sequence for the foundational skills that you can just use their sequence. However, since we're using Words Their Way K2, we're going to use their Words Their Way sequence, so that's not going to be as helpful for you. What else did I want to go? Oh, the focused instruction. This is more for the 3rd through 5th grade teachers. This is where you can find specific texts and specific activities to do for these different topics. And the last thing I wanted to show you is when you go to, let's just go to the resource. I think it's on any page. Let me just, yep. So on any page of your RAS Plus, if you scroll all the way down, you'll see this instructional support area. Down here, this is where you'd get that level correlation chart. This is the one that I've printed multiple times for you. Lots of people have used it. You can go down here and you can choose, let's say I want to compare grades in the DRA level. I don't need Lexile levels. Fountas and Bunnells are good. And then it will give me my correlation chart. In case you need that virtually and don't have your printed version with you, that's where you can find that. And the other thing that I really wanted to show you, in case you're going in and being very specific about which books you're choosing, is down here again. This is at the bottom. So I go to any of the Learning A to Z or RAS Plus pages. I go all the way down. And there's a gray box of instructional supports. And under this instructional tools, the books by skill chart, if you click on that, it brings up this list. And this is the leveled books. So it's not the decodable texts, but the leveled books. And I can choose them. I can go from the AA level, or I could go start at Z and go down. I could change the grade level. I can change the reading strategy I wanted to look up. I can look on for comprehension. I can organize it by comprehension, by phonological awareness skills, by phonics, by grammar mechanics. So that just, it really helps. Like right now for comprehension, for summarize, here's the books that really focus on summarize, and it has the different grade levels. And if you want to go in and create a sheet that's very specific to you, you can always save it as a file so you can get to it later. So there is lots and lots of resources within Learning A to Z. Thanks for listening.